Hello YouTube, we're going to go through a few of the extras that you probably want to know a bit about when you're starting to use Ubuntu, and specifically Ubuntu with the GNOME desktop added. We're here at the logon screen, and as you can see we've got that little footprint that you've probably seen before. It's right around here, and we're going to click on that to ask the system for the list of different desktops that it can give us. And you've seen the Ubuntu 2D, and the GNOME Classic, which we're using, but there's also another one which is GNOME Classic No Effects. Now, running Compiz to give you all the extra bits and pieces is all well and good, but it takes up some system resources by itself. So if you're on a low power laptop or something that hasn't got that much grunt, you might want to choose the version GNOME Classic No Effects. That means you won't get all the fancy stuff delivered by Compiz, but you'll still get a better response out of the system. Ironically enough, I use the No Effects on my Fit PC3 because it is a lower power version. But we're going to go in with GNOME Classic with the effects, with Compiz running. So I'm just going to log on, and here we go. Right, let's see what I've got under my list of things to give you, or show you rather. I'm just going to engage the zoom a little here. And one of the things is the screensaver. Now, because we entered that command, that stopped one of the screensavers, but it doesn't stop the legitimate screensaver, which you'll find under Applications, and you should find it under System Tools. Whereabouts is it? It's at the bottom here, System Settings. So that's where it is. You'll find that you have a sort of control panel, like if you use the control panel in Windows, this is very much like this. And you have two key things, one of which is power down here and brightness and lock up there. So power, if you go into there, details what happens. You can suspend it when it's inactive for a while. In this case we choose don't suspend because we're on the mains. And show battery status in the menu bar. Well, you can or can't, depending. And this will also offer us a link which will take us through to the brightness settings. And here we can turn off the screen when inactive for 10 minutes, and we're just going to change that to nothing. I've got a little bit of a problem here because I'm running the zoom. And we can lock the screen or not. I choose not to. And you can lock after turning the screen turns off. And require my password when waking from suspend. You know, this is a PC which we're never going to bother with. You know, it's in our home, so we're not worried about people messing around with it. So I'm going to get rid of that. How to add and remove things from the taskbar. Well, as you've seen up here, we actually have a taskbar, and you can see one icon there already. That is for the Dolphin browser. And yep. What we can do is within any application from here you can actually drag it on. So we're going to just drag a Blender in there, or what will we do? Now we'll take something like Office. We'll take something like LibreOffice Writer, which is its version of Word, and we're just going to drag it up to that top bar. And hey presto, there it is, it's up there. So all we need to do is click on that and up it'll come. Bink. LibreOffice, it starts, and there you go. So that's how you can simply get things up there. To get things off there, you have to use the Shift and Alt. I'm just going to close that together. I'm just going to zoom in a little more again. And you have to hold down the Shift and Alt keys together when you right click. Then you will get the options to move it or remove it from panel. If you just right click on it without those, you'll either get Launch or the Properties. And the properties will give you the properties of the icon itself, which we're just going to close because we don't want to change it. So there you are. You can easily put things up there, move them around. You have to hold down Super and Alt, and in case you're wondering what Super is, it's the Windows key, normally found between Control and Alt, and it's the one with the old Windows logo on it. What else have we got? Software properties G to get for additional hardware drivers. Yep. There's a few bits and pieces. We're just gonna. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a terminal up there. I'm going to drag that up because that'll be a bonus for me. And we're going to type in a command, which is where are we? Software-properties minus GTK right, that one is what we're going to ask for, so you can type that in yourself, and that is what gives us this. The software sources are where it takes it's the sources of its libraries for where it goes to get its software. Its version of the library, and we can specify pretty much what goes on. And oh, I've got where is precise pangling? It's in somewhere. Anyway, among the various bits and pieces here, actually, what's going on is this is actually 12.04, so we'll still have the hardware here. But if you're on 12.10, you'll find an extra tab here for the hardware, and that is to allow you to access the extra hardware drivers. Under this version, which is 12.04, you're lucky you'll still find it under the System Tools, System Settings. You should still find hardware additional drivers there. So that's where that comes from. And you'll notice you've got pretty much everything here: appearance, keyboard lock, online accounts, privacy, mouse and touchpad, keyboard settings, it's all here, sound and the rest of it. System, backup, it does have a backup ability as well, built in. User accounts is where you adjust user accounts on the system, and ultimately privacy. Now privacy is an important one, we're going to select that, and you should see under here various bits and pieces. But again, if you're running 12.10, the privacy setting is where you find the extra tab. As you probably know, we've spoken about Ubuntu's tendency to go off and grab search results from Amazon, and this is where you'll find the extra tab in 12.10 to turn it off, to stop it going out and getting more information. So that's where you'll find that under the privacy sections, and you can just click all settings and we immediately go back, and you have pretty much everything there for you. Yeah, that's roughly about it. That's a few extra bits and pieces which will hopefully get you running, and I'm just going to zoom in a bit more on that so you can see it and freeze frame it for that command, because that is the command which will get you, if you're running 12.10, you'll need that to get to the extra hardware. If you're running, say, NVIDIA drivers or ATI drivers, that's how you're going to get them, by that command. Just when you thought it was all over, it actually isn't. There's two more things that I want to show you on here, and that is how to change the program that a particular file association opens with, and also how to put your own fonts on the system. I completely forgot about that. One of the things, I'm going to use two things. I'm going to use Dolphin, which is my own preferred file browser, and also one that comes with it. And there's the home folder there in this one. This one happens to be called Nautilus. You might encounter some others. Now on Nautilus, we're in the home directories on both of these. On Nautilus, I'm going to go up to View, and I'm going to ask to show hidden files, and that will show a number of files. And in Dolphin, what I'm going to do is go up to the spanner or wrench or whatever you call it, and I'm going to ask for show hidden files there. You'll notice that in both cases there are shortcut keys, so you can just press those key combinations and it will do it. Now, hidden files are files which start with a full stop, and we're going to create one of those. In Dolphin, I can just go create new, and what I'll do is I'll just come out of that and zoom in a little. I can click on an empty area and go create new, and I could ask for a new folder. In Nautilus, I can pretty much do the same thing. I can just right click and create new folder. Now which one I do it in doesn't actually matter, but I'm going to create a folder called full stop fonts, and that's what I'm going to call it. There's a full stop and then it's called fonts, and then I can just press enter to that, and that will create the folder. You can see that it's immediately shown up and it's been sorted in amongst the dots. Now I'm going to come to Dolphin, for example, and you can see that on the left we have a USB stick, and under that I have various bits and pieces, and I'm just going to go to where some of the fonts are, where my favorite fonts are. So I'm just going to use Control A, and that's 997 fonts. Then I'm going to go copy, And I'm just going to go into the home, into the .fonts folder, and I'm going to paste them in there. And there they go. So that's how you just add your own fonts to the system. Now what you'll notice is that we did this under the home directory, so that you can actually have different font collections for different users on the system. There is actually a central place to put fonts if you wanted them to be available to everybody, but what I found is because of a later technique that I used, which allows me to rebuild the machine but not have to take all my data off, that means that all the fonts stay in my home directory as well. That's a trick that I'll have to show you at some other time. The other thing is that I wanted to show you, we'll take the hidden files off here. Running with the zoom also mucks a few things up. We'll go under videos. For example, there's a video there that I want to play, but I want to control what it actually opens with. So I'm going to right click and go to the properties. You can also see that I could get that with Alt Return rather than having to click it at all. And here you will notice another spanner or wrench or whatever you call it under the general. We also have an expansion here for a few more tabs, permissions and information, but we're going to enter that wrench, and here we can see what's going to happen. We can see various controls under which are embedding and general, and here you can see the application preference order, and VLC is already at the top of the list, but if I wanted movie player I could either move it up, move it down, or even remove it if I wanted, or edit the command. So if I wanted movie player I would just go up and then apply, but I don't actually prefer VLC, to be perfectly honest with you. So we'll apply that, it'll update the system configuration, and then we can just click OK or the cross, and that's done. And then we can OK that. I'll show you the second way of doing it under Nautilus, and for here we're going to go to the music. Hello, music. It's terrible with the zoom. Here's some of the music that I've made. And these are going to be MP3 files, and we're going to go down and we're going to go to the properties here. You can see at the top of the list that it would open with the Rhythm Box music player. But we're going to go to the properties, and under here we have an entire tab for Open With. So we click on there and there's the default application. Now I actually prefer QMMP. If you're a fan of, what is it? I've completely forgotten the name of it. Winamp. Then you probably want to use QMMP, or at least look at it, and then you just select to set it as the default, and that's it. That is now the default. So if I close that, that should be done. If I can just click on an MP3 file and it should open. Oh, it's double clicking Nautilus. And there you go, QMMP. Yep, that's enough of that, thank you. Hello, I said that's enough of that. Yeah, you'll probably find that you have to do it with various different formats. For example, MP3, you might have to do it again with the WAV files, and again with the video, because there's different video formats, and again I point them all to VLC. One of the things that we are going to do with videos, and that's an MP4, but that should now open in VLC. Oh, it's double click Nautilus. I'm just going to zoom out a little. Oh, that's actually opened in Movie Player. Duh. Okay, I didn't tell it here to open with VLC, so we have to go into the properties here. It would make sense once you actually make a selection of, say, Nautilus, or I'm going to make that set as default, or Dolphin, that you stick with it, because you'd have to do the applications in each of them. So here we go, we're going to open that now in VLC. There you go. Save and continue. We're just going to pause that. There's a few things in VLC that you probably want to know about, and they're under the Tools, Preferences. You've got the interface settings here. You probably want to, under Subtitles and OSD Preferences, you probably want to not show the media title on video start. That drives me up the wall. And also you'll notice the audio setting. If you do get very crackly or something like that, you can actually set the output module. This is default, and it'll use the system default, but you can in some cases change that to ULSA or pulse audio. I'd recommend leaving it on the default unless you do have crackling problems. and then you can change the output module. But yeah, you probably want to leave it as default unless you actually have those problems. And that should be it. Now we should be able to just click away from that. I think we've saved the options. Now we can start it off, and with a bit of luck, did I click that? I'm sure I clicked it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It started up without the subtitle coming up. There's a few things about VLC that you might want to look at. Is if you're viewing videos, viewing DVDs specifically, you can ask for what title and what chapter is playing. You can also ask on the audio which audio track is playing, which channels are playing, whether or not there are, where is it? Somewhere around there is video, I think. If there is a subtitles track playing. So if you need to get out a certain track on a DVD, and this will come in handy later, you can use VLC to play the DVD and find out exactly which track is playing. And that's pretty much, you've got zoom, aspect ratio, cropping, and there's also somewhere the ability to actually use VLC to stream video, or you could actually convert and save the video to another format. And that's one thing that VLC can be quite useful for. We can save it, file selection, convert, save. Whoops. Yeah, right. I'm not 100% au fait with this because I don't typically use it. Capture mode. Oh, we can also capture from, if you have various sources like a webcam, it can also capture from that. VLC is quite a useful, versatile piece of kit. So there you go, a few more tips for you. Catch you on the next video, I hope. Bye.